My mooring in Royal Leamington Spa was a good spot, being so close to the little supermarket, and it gave me a chance to relax for a day after coming through the 23 locks from Napton Junction, and the thought of having the 2 Warwick locks and then the Hatton flight of 21 locks still to get through. Narrowboating is not for the faint-hearted. I got Bubbly Too ready to go, then set off towards Warwick and its 2 lock between bridges 49B and 50. And then it was on to the Hatton flight. 21 locks spread over 2 miles with a rise of 150 feet. So as I said, it's been a pleasant little stop there, Leamington Spa. As I said, I'm not going to go through Hatton today. Just going to get up there, moor up somewhere close, and then get up early in the morning and go through. Hopefully find 1 or 2 others that are going up, get a bit of help. It's a lot of locks. So coming up to first bridge of the day, which is bridge 44, and not far along this canal now. I'll be sort of effectively passing from Leamington Spa to Warwick. Pleasant stretch of canal though. Now before I get to my stopping point today, I've got 2 locks to go through, a few bridges to go under, but I've also got to go across 2 aqueducts. The first I'm coming up to now. This is an aqueduct across the main railway lines, and then a little bit further on I've got a second aqueduct to go over, which crosses the River Avon. Nice housing along the side of the canal. I'm just coming up to the first of the aqueducts. So this is the one that crosses the main railway line. This first aqueduct is a brick-built one and straddles what used to be the Great Western Railway's main line between London and Birmingham. It's a route that is today run by the Chiltern Railways. I'm just coming up to the second bridge for today, bridge 45. Got to be said, the forecast isn't quite true. It said it was going to be mild and sunny today and gentle breeze, and it's really blowing quite stiff, and it's a bit overcast, but let's hope it doesn't rain. This old house here, lots of chimneys, 2 chimney stacks and 3 chimneys on each. Looks a little bit abandoned now though, to be perfectly honest. This second aqueduct is a sturdy stone-built construction with 3 arches, and as I said, it crosses the River Avon. Today there are steps that lead down from the canal towpath to the river. This is Emscott Old Wharf, obviously new housing on it now. There's quite a lot of new housing along this stretch of the canal, it's got to be said. For bridge 47, this metal reinforcing strip, and you can see all the indentations, is where back in the olden days the horses would come with the rope attached to the boat. The ropes were obviously wet and mucky, and they just ground this way over the decades. This old factory complex was, in days gone past, the gelatine works. So this is Cape Boats I'm now coming up to. It's a hire fleet. These are some of the new housing that's going up, some that's been completed. Although I think there's quite a few for sale. This is bridge 49A, footbridge over the canal. I'm just come up to my first of 2 locks today, and the water point is just this side of the lock, so yeah. So this is the first lock of the day. It's the Cape Bottom lock, and then I've got to just move up to the next one, which is the second of the day. So this is the Cape of Good Hope free house. So I was recommended to go and have something to eat and drink in there, and I might well do that later on, because I'm going to moor just a little bit further up the cut. So I might have a walk back and have a beer in that. Yeah, it does look a nice pub, it's got to be said. And the toilets are all wallpapered with magazines, Waterways World magazines. Amazing. Swan's Nest. So I've just left my mooring opposite the Cape of Good Hope pub, and I've just now got a short distance to go before I get to the Hatton bottom lock. I was going to stay a second night here because it was a really pleasant spot, but looking at the weather forecast, today's going to be sunny, quite mild and reasonable winds, whereas tomorrow it's going to be tipping it down with rain and blustery breezes and strong winds, so it makes sense to try and get up the flight today. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is going to be my first time going through the Hatton flight and going up through the flight. So starting at the bottom lock, not far from Warwick. I think as far as the boat's concerned, I'm not sure if this is the second time it's been through or it's been through more, but I certainly have a plaque. See the plaque there? I've locked up Hatton. So I think the boat's been up there. This is the Saltisford Arm Canal Centre. She's got a good reputation for a good shop there, and as well as services. Nice little canal side garden someone's created. Morning. Cute boat. Thank you. So this is me just coming up the first of the Hatton locks. As I said, there's 21 locks over a 2-mile section, and it rises about 150 feet. So yeah, it's going to be a tough morning. Lovely lockside cottage. Days gone past, Hatton Bottom Lock Cottage. There you can see the sign Hatton Locks. So this is lock number 4. I'm just about to exit. I'm doing them all on my own, there's just no one about, so yeah, good day's exercise today. So I'm just come up to bridge 52, so I've only gone through 3 bridges including this one, and I think I'm up to lock 7, maybe 8, I'm not sure. So I'm not quite sure what lock number I'm on now, but I just had a Lockie, a lady Lockie, just see her walking up their path. She's just helped me through the last lock, part of it anyway, closing the gate, and then she's going to help me up the next couple. So yeah, always appreciate the help of the Lockies, they do a great job. This is where you have to be really careful because there's so much water coming in, leaking. Get too close to the front, water comes in the front of the boat, and that's it, game over. So Hatton locks are not the largest flight of locks, but as you can see they are quite intimidating, especially this central section. The current locks are of a wide beam dimensions and cost £1 million when they were built back in the 1930s to replace the original narrow locks. The remains of some of the original locks can still be seen, and today the bottom lock is lock number 1, but the original flight was numbered the opposite way, with the top lock being number 1. Yeah, it was good to finally get up to the top of the Hatton flight. It's been a tough day climbing up through 23 locks in total, but I felt good having passed through most of the locks on my own. But not too much further along. I moored up and relaxed in the evening sunshine with a glass of wine. So I've just set off from my mooring spot just above the top lock at Hatton, and I'm going to make my way a few miles up the canal just beyond bridge 65 today. So I'm just coming up to the first bridge of the day to go under, which is bridge 55, which means I've actually got 10 bridges to go through. So you can see in front of me I'm coming up to Shrewley Tunnel. It looks quite short actually, you can see through it, but actually it's about 400 metres in length. Well, I really enjoyed the cruise from Hatton along a beautiful section of the Grand Union Canal and found a great spot to moor up for a few days just beyond Bridge 65 and the village of Lapworth. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me, and if you have, please consider subscribing and hit the like button. Thank you. Join me next time as I make my way up towards Birmingham.